Dr. Miles Monroe teaches us that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Hello, good people. This is Stella, your regular host on the Family Enrichment Hub, your center for family learning and for growth. Thank you for keeping it with the hub, and I want to especially welcome those of us who are new, who have joined the family of like-minded people on a journey to change and transform their family histories. Today, I want to be speaking about another aspect of hurting people, and that is they use sex as a tool of control on others, sexual manipulation, if you like. A study which was conducted by a leading psychologist, Dr. Doug Wise, which he did on over 5,000 men who were addicted to sex. In this study, he wanted to understand how these men actually got into addiction to sex. The findings from this study actually indicate that 85% of the men were actually looking for power. They were looking for acceptance. They were looking to be loved. They wanted to get away from something. They wanted to run away from childhood issues that they had experienced. And we've also met so many people who cannot keep their zippers together. We've met a number of people whose legs are always open in anticipation of the next sexual experience. There are so many all around us, people who are slaves to sex. It's a kind of like expression for them. Sex is a way that they assert themselves. It is a kind of identity for them. And because sex comes with very high and intense emotions of pleasure, it is no wonder that many people actually get addicted and use sex as a tool of controlling others, and as a consequence, they hurt the very people that they are supposed to be loving and protecting. What are the causes of people using sex as a tool of control? We are told by psychologists, and there is general agreement on this, that people who were not affirmed and validated while they were growing up, they did not feel loved, they did not feel valued, they usually seek validation in sex, because through sex, many of them are affirmed. Many of them will begin hearing things that they never got to hear from the family spaces in which they grow up. And so you find people having so many multiple partners because it's an opportunity for them to be validated by multiple people. We are also told by psychologists that sexual abuse in early childhood years usually repeats itself in the adult lives of the victims. In fact, we are told that 80% of sexual abuse victims sexualize themselves and others as a way of coping with the abuse that they suffered in their younger lives. Another aspect of sexual control comes from emotional and psychological abuse, which many people suffer while they are growing up. You grow up being told you don't matter too much, you'll never amount to anything, you don't feel a sense of you belong. That also pushes many people, like I've already explained, in the point of people are not validated and affirmed while growing up. So when you meet the people who are willing to give you this affirmation, to make you feel wanted, to make you feel desired, you'll easily compromise, because psychologically and mentally and emotionally, you're already having a gap. So any opportunity for people who come in through sex to give you these affirmations that you missed out on will push you into a space where you're actually controlled by sex, because you see it as a space of validation, a space of acceptance, a space of love. For others, there is what we call the compensating factor. And the example which is given here is if a man feels inadequate while growing up, he can easily, in his mind, create a space in the world where he feels adequate. And usually, for most men, that space is created in the sexual platform. And so you find that kind of men will use sex as a tool of control to affirm their masculinity and indeed to exercise their control on people. We are also told that people who are more pleasure oriented will usually find themselves easily compromising and becoming tools for sexual use and also using others to assert their power and their control. Parental neglect is another aspect that has been identified as a cause of people becoming sexually controlled. When parents do not have time to talk about sexuality, sex matters with their children. These children are interacting with the outside world through the friends and the colleagues that they study with. They'll be able to collect all the wrong kind of information from outside. And before you know it, your child is highly sexualized. They cannot do without sex. They are dependent on it because they have been given extremely distorted and perverted information from outside. We are also told by psychologists that an empty soul will always pour out their energy into sex. When you don't have serious things that are driving your life, when you don't have a sense of purpose and direction, you'll use sex as the easy avenue for you to vent out on the excess energy that is within you. What should we do as parents, as a community, as people who are aware of this challenge within us? First of all, it's worth noting, and we all know the damage, the dangers of uncontrolled sex within the life of an individual. Sex can destroy an individual's life. Sex can destroy children's lives. Sex destroys marital unions and relationships. Sex destroys family. It creates a lot of distrust and causes a lot of untold pain and heartache to the people who are directly involved with the person that has been controlled by sex. And so we need to seek therapy and help for our people, our loved ones who are controlled by these sexual emotions. There is help which is available, but you need to seek therapy from people who are experienced in helping those who are sexual addicts and are being controlled by sex. You need to have clearly defined values and principles for your life. It's a generally known thing that if you do not stand up for something, you're going to fall for everything. When it comes to your sex life, if you don't have boundaries, if you don't have controls, if you don't have principles that guide you and keep you in check and in balance, you're going to fall for every available opportunity for you to be a victim of sexual control, for you to hurt and ruin other people's lives. So have values that guide you and give you a sense of direction with regard to your life, to your family, to your marital relationships. Deal with your hurts and pains which came with you right from your childhood. Face them before you marry. Do not marry somebody who has not healed from their past because you're just going to be transferring this pain into the next unit of your family. So find a way, find therapy, find healing for yourself so that you can be able to bring the best version of you into your family. Think of the consequences of your sexual behavior. I always like to use the example of Joyce Meyer, who on a daily basis is teaching and helping people to come out of a place of abuse, especially sexual abuse, which in her case she went through in the hands of her father. Just imagine the consequences of your uncontrolled sex. Imagine Joyce Meyer's father is long gone, but she's still referring to him as a bad example of somebody to follow. So every time You cannot hold yourself, you cannot control yourself. Think about the consequences. Think about you being used as an example of somebody that everybody should be running away from because of failing to control their sex desires. People of purpose control their eyes. People of purpose control their zippers. People of purpose keep their legs together. They do not allow sex to rule and ruin their lives and their families. So if this speaks to you, you're struggling with the issues of sex because you have suffered certain traumas right from childhood, kindly seek therapy. Otherwise, you're going to continue this chain of abuse because, like research has clearly shown, people who were abused in their childhood, in their adult lives, they also continue with the trend of abusing others. Allow me conclude with this. We are told from the scriptures that from their fruit you'll know them. If your life is controlled by sex, you need to check your foundation. Your life is not a playground where every player is welcome to come and play and try out their skills. Find the value within your life and pour your energies into your life purpose. Thank you, friends, for listening in. Kindly share widely, for this is how we shall truly transform our society through the family. God bless you. Bye.